Okay, now let's move from safety to another issue raised during the AI summit. The fact is, a number of big Indian and foreign companies during the AI summit have pledged billions of dollars in building India's AI infrastructure. The question is, will these investments now make India the next major AI hub, or are we still playing catch up with America and China? Joining the roundtable now is Parag Khanna, founder and CEO of Alpha Geo, who tracks these investments very closely. Appreciate Parag joining us. The AI summit has seen on the positive side a number of global Indian and companies pledging investment worth billions. Do you see this, Parag, bridging the AI divide between the global south, India, and the United States and China on the other side? Will that happen? Will the AI divide get bridged when it comes to investments?
Well, thank you for having me on the program. First of all, the law of technology diffusion is the most important, overarching, powerful principle that is at stake here. And what India is doing by hosting this event and by making its own significant investments in AI and attracting global capital to invest in Indian AI is to show that AI technology can diffuse very rapidly. It is not simply a US versus China two-horse race to dominate global AI. That was not true, it is not true, and India proves that it will not be true in the future. Secondly, it's not really about the amount of money that's being put in, right? We never really know until the money is pledged, until it's committed, until the capital is deployed, till the concrete is poured, the data centers are built, the models are trained. All of these costs are, as you know, very volatile, and many of them are coming down. So let's think more about capacity than about the cash, so to speak. Now, the very important point, though, that you raised is about bridging the gap with the rest of the world, so to speak. And what India does offer, and Indian companies offer, and the Indian model even before AI has been offering, is digital public infrastructure, right? DPI. How can we offer low-cost, affordable, transparent, trustworthy, sovereign models for other countries to use at low cost and scaling really from India? And so the India model is what is something that is very attractive to many countries in the world, as compared with the notion that either Chinese state entities or American corporate entities are controlling others' data. So I think India has accomplished several major things here with this summit. The first being to break the notion of a AI superpower duopoly and to present a viable, affordable model for the rest of the world as well.
At the same time, we've heard, Parag, American speakers, White House advisors saying that at the summit, saying the AI stack will be American-driven, and in a way, India should piggyback on US-based AI foundational models.
Not necessarily, and this gets back to the point about diffusion. There is a notion of control, a linear strategy by which a US company or others presume that those companies that are making the initial investments are going to really control the models. But what we see many countries doing, both as from a corporate standpoint or from a government standpoint, is really using a hybrid set of models, open weight models, a menu in a way of models to build their own national architectures. So what starts out looking like something that is bilateral, something that is hegemonic, actually winds up being something much more diffuse, something much more in the power of countries to control. So really, it's just one step in the process, this notion. And yes, we have heard officials and corporations from other countries like the US making these assertions. But the way these things play out, whether you can go back in time and look at nuclear power, military aircraft, really any set of technologies, eventually the domestic version, the indigenous version, the one that complies with local national norms and laws, is going to be the one that's most prevalent. And because India is such a big market, those regulatory dynamics, those political dynamics, will force the foreign players to comply with the Indian approach and to do things the Indian way rather than necessarily the reverse.
But we've also seen, Parag, today India join what is being called Pax Silica, this US-based initiative bringing countries together in a way to counter China's growing influence over AI. Will this, though, lead to an over-reliance, some believe, on US technology and US leadership and investments? Or do you believe India can take a more balanced approach with between the US on one side and China on the other?
Well, Pax Silica will not be an instance of balancing, because the purpose of Pax Silica very much, or rather balancing between the US and China, because it really is an initiative that is meant to exclude China and to create a team of committed nations and their companies, their national champions, that are going to make sure to avoid dependency on China and to accelerate diminishing exposure to China in everything from critical minerals and the physical components of hardware all the way to the AI ecosystem. So Pax Silica is, in a way, a counter-China maneuver, and I do think it's wise for countries to join this sort of network structure so that they can avoid being hostage, in a way, to a country such as China that has exercised rare earth export controls. So this kind of coalition diplomacy, yes, the US has initiated it, but I think that countries, because it is not a formal, binding, legal treaty framework, the US and others know that if they do not construct it in a way that serves the interests of its members, such as India, then they can very easily simply defect and play all sides.
But Parag, do you see India developing its own indigenous AI capabilities now to create, in a way, a third pole to the US or China? Or do you see more and more Indian companies, as they already are, partnering with OpenAI, with NVIDIAs of the world?
And the answer is very much both, because you see those companies, both the software companies and the model developers, OpenAI and others, very much increasing their presence in India, opening offices here, hiring researchers here, looking to do sales here. But again, they'll have to be locally compliant. But also, of course, the indigenous Indian AI industry, which doesn't require any more external stimulus. I don't think your question is hypothetical at all. I think it's already happening. Very few countries have this volume of data, given the population, given the economic dynamism, given the free openness of the society and its presence online and the amount of data that's generated. India can generate Indian AI. There's no question about it.
And do you believe Parag, that India can now therefore actually build these AI models indigenously that can compete in the global market? You believe that's really possible, that Indian innovation can reach that stage or is reaching that stage?
Absolutely, especially for its own market. And I think that, again, going back to digital public infrastructure, which India is exporting, it is that platform, service, and toolkit that India is providing that might wind up prevailing in many countries around the world.
Okay, Parag, for leaving us on a note of optimism there from the AI Summit, I appreciate you joining us. Now, as we said at the very outset, this summit has clearly placed India at the heart of the global dialogue on AI. There may have been the odd fiascos like Galgotias, but the truth is that at least now there's a recognition and a growing awareness of this massive AI revolution taking place around us. The big question, of course, still remains, will AI genuinely therefore spur a growth economy as many are hoping? That's the question I want to leave you with voices from the India Today AI Roundtable. Listen in to them. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Namaskar.